Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Host Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that dominates in today's edition for Monday, 23rd June 2025, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillean Group. Progress made in setting up regional CBI regulatory body. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
Welcome back. During the 2025 St. Kitts and Nevis Investment Gateway Summit, ECCB Governor Timothy Antwine provided insight into the setting up of a regional regulator for the 5 operating Citizenship by Investment CBI operators operating within the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union. Glenn Bart of SKN Newsline reports.
As a means of enhancing the sustainability of the CBI programs, of addressing critical issues of stakeholders, ensuring proper and fair regulatory frameworks, ensuring transparency and accountability, the ECCB was tasked with setting up the body that will oversee the CBI programs of the 5 CBI countries.
I want to be clear. This regulator will be a separate legal entity from the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. So our role is to help set it up, but we will not run the regulator. The regulator will not operate from inside of the central bank. So I want to be clear. Where are we on this road to this regional regulator? First, having signed the agreement with the US in February 2023, our heads of government then moved to sign a memorandum of agreement. They've done that. And having done that, they then asked us to begin the work on setting up the regulator. For the last 2-3 months, we have been actively engaged in consultations across the currency union in the 5 countries that have programs to hear your voice. And I want to be very clear, we took a deliberate step. It required us to travel and to engage in an intense schedule, but we did not want to draft before we engaged you. I want to thank every one of you. Some of you we met on this journey, and I see some of them today, and it's good to see you again. You gave of your time and ideas and thoughts to help us craft this legal framework. So we did not want to just show up with a draft law without this prior consultation. We have done that. And our preparation has been enriched by what you have shared with us. On that journey, we have gone to every country. We've met all of the players, government, opposition, local agents, developers, FIUs, banks, among others. We've also met our international partners, the United States, the United Kingdom, the European Union. And we have benefited from those consultations. So that as we speak, we are now in a position to submit, as we have done, our draft legal framework.
Governor Antwine further clarified what was required of this ECCB in relation to the setting up of the regional regulator.
We met our attorneys general in early May. We had a very good discussion with them. We did a revision. We are now on our second draft. and we have now submitted our second draft to our heads, our prime ministers. There are some policy issues that we are to discuss with them. We expect that meeting to be held very soon. And once that meeting occurs, we will in fact, and I'll come back to this, we will in fact be coming to you, I hope this month, with a draft for your review. So we had a pre-draft consultations. We are now going to have post-draft consultation. And our hope is that for 3-4 weeks, you'll have the opportunity to review that draft, to send in your comments before we move to finalizing the draft for our heads. As you can see on screen, the plan is we've submitted the draft, we've done that. The plan is to share it with you this month, finalize it end of July and early August to make a final submission. That's our plan. And then our governments will have between then and the end of this year, December 2025, to enact this legislation into law.
The Eastern Caribbean CBI operating countries agreed to a centralized regulatory body in response to concerns being expressed by some countries that are impacted by the citizenship by investment programs of the Caribbean. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline.
The Secretary General of the Organization of American States has praised Antigua and Barbuda for being the host of this week's 55th regular session of the General Assembly of the OAS. Ambassador Albert Ramdin spoke with ABS News as he arrived in the country on Saturday afternoon. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs says all is in place for the General Assembly June 25th to 27th. ABS's Garfield Burford has that report.
A historic General Assembly of the Organization of American States in more ways than one. It's the first time Antigua and Barbuda will be hosting, and it will also be the first General Assembly with a Secretary General from CARICOM at the helm of the organization. Ambassador Albert Ramdin arrived in the country on Saturday afternoon for next week's regular session. He praises Antigua and Barbuda for hosting the General Assembly.
It's great that a small country like Antigua and Barbuda with so long history, but the small population is hosting this General Assembly is no small feat. But last year, the SITS conference took place here, so we are very proud of Antigua and Barbuda. So thanks to the government and the people of Antigua and Barbuda to be our host for the coming days, almost a week.
Ambassador Ramdin is Suriname's foreign minister and was elected in March this year, succeeding Uruguayan diplomat Luis Almagro. He serves until 2030.
In terms of my own elections, it was, I would say, long overdue for CARICOM to take up leadership roles in political institutions in the hemisphere. We had the leadership in PAHO, the Pan American Health Organization, also in IICA, the Agricultural Organization, both very much part of the OAS Inter-American system. But we never had the leadership in a political entity. And we live in very, I should say, interesting times with lots of changes taking place, lots of challenges, but also opportunities. So this is a great moment to provide leadership. And CARICOM was certainly central to this election. So thank you, CARICOM.
Ambassador Ramdin says crucial issues will be discussed.
I expect three things to come out from here. One is we will present our plan to make the OAS much more as a more relevant, important, recognized organization where there is much more confidence in multilateralism. So Antigua and Barbuda plays in that by organizing this an important role. Secondly, we would like to also focus on the critical issues which are currently playing out in the hemisphere. Haiti is foremost, but also electoral processes, democracy, human rights issues. And I hope that Antigua and Barbuda will not only demonstrate a divisive atmosphere, but more like a constructive, forward-looking agenda. So we hope to set the tone for that here. And lastly, we are going in a couple of months to the highest political level of meetings, the Summit of the Americas in Dominican Republic. I hope that we set the tone here for the discourse which will take place end end of this year in Dakar and Dominican Republic.
Consequential foreign policy matters will also be discussed, especially within the context of the shifting geopolitical dynamics since President Donald Trump returned to the White House. The General Assembly will be held under the theme, Building Inclusive, Resilient Economies in the Americas.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick, in association with our friends at
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
With the 2025 general and regional elections just months away in Guyana, General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party Civic, PPPC, Dr. Barrett Jagdeo, is declaring his party the clear front-runner, boldly stating that the opposition poses no match for the PPP. Travis Chase of HGP Nightly News reports.
After stating months ago that his party, the People's Progressive Party Civic, will not be complacent in its approach to the 2025 general and regional elections, General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party, Barrett Jagdeo, stated on Thursday that all of the opposition parties are no match for the PPPC. The tough-talking General Secretary urged voters, though, to carefully examine the political candidates contesting the elections.
So you just contrast that and think about entrusting the future of Guyana, this time in the hands of that group versus Irfan Ali, Mark Phillips ticket, supported by a party that has kept its promise to the people, always kept.
The General Secretary claims that no other political party has the skill and competency as the People's Progressive Party Civic.
From no skill or competency, they're not trustworthy because they plan not to implement anything, and they're not this feeble attempt to come up with a program that they would call manifesto has been really that. Not.
Mr. Jagdeo believes that the Guyanese electorate will give the PPP another chance after the ballots are counted.
We can't do that because we know we're winning the elections and we know we'd have to fulfill the promises. So we study things carefully before we do it.
Asks then whether his party's presidential candidate Irfan Ali should enter presidential debate with other candidates, the General Secretary responded.
So I'm not worried about his performance. But if I were, as I said the last time, I were to advise him whether to participate or not, I would say no.
The 2025 general and regional elections are due on September 1. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.
As global crises mount and food security remains a growing concern, OECS leaders have gathered for high-level talks focused on legislative action and regional resilience. At the 77th meeting of the OECS Authority, chaired by St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, member states are pushing forward critical bills aimed at strengthening sustainability, economic stability, and intra-regional cooperation. Manasseh Stanislaus of DBS News World has more.
The forum featured open dialogue among heads of governments on essential bills and legislative frameworks aimed at helping the region achieve its sustainable development goals. OECS Director General Dr. Didacus Jules addressed the mandate to improve food security throughout the region.
Goods like the foods we eat, the medicine we take, the produce we grow, should be able to move smoothly across our borders. But these freedoms don't happen by chance. They require trust. Trust that what's produced in one member state meets the same safety, health, and quality standards as in another. That's where these bills come in. The Contingent Rights Bill, for example, is about dignity and fairness.
His Excellency Alan Alexander, OECS Commissioner, highlighted this year's theme and emphasized the urgency of proactive measures amid global crises. He encouraged regional collaboration and adherence to legislative measures already in place to protect the region's future while advancing intra-regional development. Outgoing OECS Chairman and Prime Minister of St. Lucia, Honorable Philip J. Pierre, reflected on his tenure with confidence in the newly appointed chair. He expressed hope that the organization would continue to prioritize food security and regional unity in response to global economic challenges. This year's theme for the 77th OECS Authority meeting was Adapting, Innovating, Sustaining, a Unified OECS for a Changing World. A timely message reinforcing the importance of unity and policy enforcement for regional resilience and sustainability. For the DBS News World, Manasseh Stanislas reporting.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.